Hey, what's up everybody? I know I haven't put a video in a long time. I think it's close to 2 weeks. I just had these allergies that are killing me, so recording with allergies is just a no-go for me. But I'm getting a little better, and you probably have seen me in a couple of videos with John and the SW2R channel where I'm not wearing glasses. There's a reason for that, which is right here. I actually ended up breaking my glasses. So I've also been having to try to get acclimated to my new contact lenses, which hasn't been easy either. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about today is something that has been in the news and in the forefront for quite a while, which is the 1%ers, 99%ers, which, for those of you that don't know what that is, the 99%ers are basically the majority of population, which are the lower tier earners. And the 1%ers are your multi-millionaires, upwards of your billionaires, the people that technically control, everybody else. So what I wanted to talk about is that this is where mathematics just absolutely makes no sense. Because even though 99% is a bigger number than 1%, the power lies in the 1%. So the least have the most power. And what I wanted to clarify regarding that is this. The power really does lie in the 99%, not in the 1%. So I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I cover this topic in a nature that's very simple to understand? And I thought about MMORPGs, which is, I think everybody can relate to. Because usually when you play an MMORPG, you have to go into a guild to do endgame content, to do player versus player. Whatever you're doing, you need a group to get it done. And usually what happens is that if you're in a militant guild that's elitist, you probably have an asshole type guild master. And that guy becomes an asshole or behaves like an asshole because he believes he's got control over the entire guild. And usually the way that he gains the power is obviously by being nice in the beginning, sometimes being nice in the beginning, and then turning at one point when he can say, you know what, if people don't like the way that I lead, I can just kick them out of the guild because I have enough people that will follow me and do what I say. The same thing happens in the 1% versus 99%. You have these people at the top that they behave like they're untouchable because they've acquired enough people, so to speak, where they get income from, that they can behave elitist and they can knock off other people at the bottom. So let me show you exactly how this works. Let's say I run a business and it's just me. And every year I'm able to make $50,000 to $75,000. And I have my craft down pat. And if I put in 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, take the weekends off, I know what I'm going to make. Now, I know that if I hire somebody else, teach them my trade, and say, instead of paying you the full $75,000 that I'm going to make, because technically if I teach somebody exactly what I do, they should be able to replicate what I'm producing. Meaning that if I clone myself and train somebody perfectly, he should be able to produce another $50,000 to $75,000. However, I'm not going to pay him that full boat. What I'll pay him is, let's say, $30,000, maybe $35,000. So now I have my $75,000 plus another $40,000. If I replicate that again, now I have another $75,000, paying that person $35,000, adding to my boatload another $40,000. So now I'm at $155,000. And that can happen and grow exponentially. So I can replicate myself as much as I want, and then I can have the people that I train duplicate themselves and basically grow my enterprise by leaps and bounds. And that's really how corporations are grown. Now, this whole behavior that you get from the elitists, starting by the banks and everybody and their mother, I don't care if it's a doctor, an architect, a banker, it makes no difference because everybody gets their money from the same source, which is the 99%ers. What usually happens is this. Banks, for example, if you look at Bank of America nowadays, and I am mentioning a specific bank, Bank of America just put a statement out a couple days ago saying that clients that don't have $100,000 in investable assets are just not good business for them. So they're looking for ways to basically get rid of clients that don't have that size asset with them because they're just not profitable. Apparently they cost them more than what they're providing for the bank, so they want to cut that off and just keep the profitable clients. And that's very typical in the finance, investments, banking industry. They're called ABC clients. You have your A clients, which are your best clients, your large clients, the clients that just do whatever you say and they make you the most money. You have your B clients, which are people that have large sums of money and they listen to you once in a while. They have your C clients, which they're more of a headache than a profit, so you want to cut those out and dedicate more time to your AB clients and try and duplicate those. When you go to a bank, let me just show you exactly how this whole scenario breaks down of how the money gets fed. Banks, probably when they started out, they go after little accounts. Guys that have $1,000, $500, so on and so forth. Once you get a bunch of those accounts, now you can say, okay, I can start pursuing bigger fish or bigger accounts. Maybe you can get better services, better products. You start courting bigger accounts and those people come on board, and so on and so forth. However, you have to look at where those big accounts came from. And it doesn't matter who you go to. Anybody that has ever had money or has money nowadays, it all came from the 99%. So what I'm trying to tell you by all of this is that all of you guys have the power to make or break anything and anybody, so long as it has to do with money. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's say that we don't like ExxonMobil, or let's say we don't like Bank of America. Two big, gigantic companies. So if you don't like them and you want to hurt them because they're being assholes, here's what you do. As the 99%, you move as one mass and you withdraw all of your money from Bank of America. You will bankrupt a bank, literally in a day, if everybody does that. And then the bank will realize that they really do depend on that 99%. And let's say the bank says, well, I don't care, we have multi-million-dollar accounts. Okay, let's say Bank of America has the company American Airlines as one of their clients. Let's say that all of the employees for American Airlines, they go on strike and they don't work. Now, every single company out there, regardless of their size, they have an overhead, daily overhead. The bigger the company, the larger the overhead. And on overhead, basically what it is the cost of running the business. So, if I take American Airlines and everybody goes on strike for 30 days, you have to figure out, does American Airlines have enough cash to literally just pay pure debt without generating any profit for 30 days? And if you do that, now you bankrupted American Airlines, one of the biggest clients of Bank of America. So if you look at this across the board, you'll be able to realize that the 1%ers, they're just the derivative. They're basically the outcome of them fishing from the 99%ers. Because the 1%ers really don't make money off each other. They really make their money off the 99%. They get to a status level and a level of power, and then they have power within bigger institutions like Bank of America. If I go with $100 to Bank of America, I'm just some bum. If I go to Bank of America with, let's say, $10 million, well, hey, red carpet, champagne starts flowing, filet mignons, all kinds of crap starts happening at just the flick of a button. So I just wanted to let you guys know that don't think of yourself as anything small if you believe or you are part of the 99%, because all the power relies with us. So long as we operate as a unit, we can literally bankrupt companies, bankrupt individuals, take people out of business. It could be a dentist, could be a doctor, could be whoever. But the power lies in us behaving as one unit. And I don't know if you guys saw, but this really hit home to me, because there was a fluke article that was posted on Yahoo of a banker supposedly in California going to eat at a restaurant, and his bill was like $133.27. So they showed the receipt, and the receipt, the guy tipped $1.33. And then he circled the tip area, which obviously, as I mentioned, was 1% of the actual total bill of $1.33. And then he wrote up top, "Get a real job," to the waitress. So this actually hit Yahoo News about a week or a week and a half ago. And it really hit home to me, even though it turned out later on to be just a fluke. It was somebody photoshopped the receipt and everything else, so it wasn't real. But that premise and that belief really is true out there. The 1%ers really do think that they're just the last Coke in the desert and they behave like total pompous asses. But you and us, the 99%ers, understand that we have all the power. So I hope that this information is of some value to you. I want you guys to always get something out of my combos that I have. Sorry for it taking so long to put it out. I did need to get this off my chest, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next video. Take care.